Gabe.
Yeah, Coach, against the West, I mean, now, last 3 years, 6-12 against the West, 2-7 in November, 1 win at Kyle. I mean, is this good enough, and how do you get
It's frustrating,
this?
Gabe. It is frustrating. I think everybody's frustrated. You know, that's nothing that, guys don't recognize. It's not something that you want to do. It's something that we make a concerted effort in the off season to talk about and what we do from a strength and conditioning standpoint, from a approach to the season standpoint. So, yeah, it's a feeling that I think not just you have or the fans have. We have that feeling, and it's not a good feeling.
To the back, Daryl.
I guess could you just kind of talk about the gutsy performance that Trevor put out there? Because you painted the picture earlier this week that he probably wasn't going to be able to go until the bowl game.
Well, he's, if you looked at him in there right now in the training room, you'd know how gutsy a performance it was. So, he's a guy that obviously has wanted to play since the injury. Worked his way through it with our rehab and with our medical team and that decision when he was cleared, that wasn't a decision because he wanted to play and he's been wanting to play and basically medically, he was held out, and then when he was cleared to medically, there was no doubt that he wanted to go, and he was able to go, and I think he gave us a spark early in the game and played pretty well for a guy that really hadn't done much in the last 3 weeks. So, he took care of the ball for the most part. We had the one turnover was a fumble and Travion coming out in the second quarter, but he took care of it, put us in some positions to score points and score enough points. So. For a guy like him to be in a sling 3 weeks ago and a severe injury like that, and to work through that on a daily basis and to come out and play, and I can't say enough about Trevor Knight.
Go far left, Sam.
Did Trevor re-aggravate the injury? How's he feeling right now?
No, he's a little beat up. That was something that happened down low. I think he got rolled up on down there after he threw one. So, that the shoulder's sore, but we came out of the game. That was something else.
To the right here, Olin.
Coach, what would you say to a angry fan base that's dissatisfied with the direction of the program?
Just what I told Gabe. We're not satisfied either, and the frustration that our fans have, frustration that they're not alone. I think you see by guys talking like Christian Kirk that that's not something that everybody that our players or our coaches it's the same anger, and it's something that we work at and are working at every day, and just like we talked about as a team, this team still has one more chance to prove itself and to stay together and go back and try to fix some things with who we have and put the best product on the field we can put out there for one last time with this unit. And so that anger and that frustration is in this building too.
We'll go second row left, Zach, and then Ben on the right.
Coach, with Darius Geis, I know he's been second fiddle after the past year, I guess, to Leonard Fournette, but coming in, having such a big performance. What made him so difficult to go up against, and how was he so successful?
He's been. I said earlier this week that he's no surprise to us because of the way he ran last year. He's a home run hitter. He's got tremendous speed and toughness, and he showed that tonight.
Second row, Ben.
Kevin, if you go back and looking at the whole month as a whole, I mean, what do you think? Do you see any commonalities in what happened in each of the 3 losses this month to SEC teams?
I see tonight, Ben, without analyzing that whole thing, we couldn't get off the field on defense. the whole second half. So, when you're in a situation like that where you can't get off the field and when you're not getting off the field and you're giving up touchdowns and not threes, not making people punt, you start trading points, but you're down. And that's not good enough. So, I don't know about the commonality I'm talking about tonight.
Gabe,
Kevin, speaking specifically tonight, how big a turning point was that fumble closing seconds of the first half?
It was, but in hindsight, I don't know that it was. At that time, it was because it made it a two-score game with us having the ball coming out. And, where you are, you make those decisions. We're backed up. You don't want to just run out the clock. You want to get something going. Travion busts a decent run. And, a guy rips it out. So, now we're down a two-score game instead of a one-score game with the ball coming out. So, at that point, maybe it was. But looking back at it, at the end of the game, based on what happened the second half, it ended up not being that big a deal because we couldn't get off the field the whole second half.
second row, Ben.
You brought up the third down thing. It's something that's come up a lot in the month. Do you think that at this point in the year, y'all were just spent for having been on the field for so many plays throughout the season?
The third down thing, well, we're about equal on third down. It wasn't third down. We didn't get them to third down enough.
We're just not getting off the field, did it?
Yeah, I was getting off the field in general. It wasn't third down. They were
7 to 13.
They were 7 of 13, and we were 7 of 16. So third down deal wasn't it. It was actually first and second down that were issues. It was the issue of chunk yardage and big plays and not being able to get off the field. So it wasn't really that was the issue.
Right, but regardless of whatever down it was, do you think that at this point in the year, the guys have just been on the field for too long and y'all were spent at this point?
I'd have to analyze that. I have to look at that.
Time for one more. All right, Gabe, get it. Sorry.
Coach, how would you analyze this defensive situation? 2 years ago it looked a lot like this. You made a change. You hired the best guy in the world, and it still looks like it. Well, how can you put your finger on that?
That's something that we got to look at, right? And I'll be honest with you, Gabe, that's something I got to look at and analyze in depth tomorrow.
All right, Coach. Thank